It was just like that with the homeless, too. You could learn to look right at them and not see them. And they could remain invisible, too, right up until the moment when they weren't. Right up until the moment when something, somehow, brought them into view. And that's what happened. How can I work that into the story? One day there was a man who had seen enough. He had found the donkey, if you get my meaning. Now, once this happens, once the invisible is made visible to a man of good conscience, it becomes impossible for him to ignore it any longer. And maybe he remembers that aphorism, that short saying from Edmund Burke, all that is required for the forces of evil to triumph in this world is that enough good men do nothing. Surely the sight of homeless men and women cast out into our city streets is an evil, and this is a good man. He feels compelled to act. So what does he do? What do you do? He says, all right, I'll volunteer at a soup kitchen. And he takes his place behind the counter, and the hungry and the needy line up. In they come. And he does what he's told. He's passing out donuts. And people take them. And buddy, they're glad to get them. As Gandhi once told us, God would not dare to appear before a starving man unless it be in the form of a loaf of bread. Or maybe in this era of Krispy Kreme as a donut. But it doesn't take this man very long to see that these people don't need his abilities to pass out pastry. No, what they could really use is his medical skill, for he is a doctor. He sees that these people have gross medical needs. He sees that they are sick, that they are hurting, that they are bearing up under a whole panoply of ills. He sees that these are people with no money. These are people no one will tend to medically, people whom no one will treat to the established system. These people are invisible. There's nowhere for them to go, and he can't accept that. He feels called to help. So this man who cannot unsee what he sees, he cannot unfeel what he feels, begins to wonder, what if I were to treat them? Could I? But how could I? There are so many. And yet his thoughts must run in accord with the author and minister Edward Everett Hale, who said, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do what I can. He asks around. He wants to do the something that he can do. He says simply and directly over and over and over again, I want to give medical care to the homeless. And over again, every approved authority, every established avenue he approaches tells him, you can't do that. You can't. And he listens to what they have to say, and he runs it through his internal translator. And he takes this to mean, I can. He just has to figure out how and where, without the blessings of the approved authorities. Or else it won't get done at all. But no one will allow him a place to work. Not here, not here, not here, no, no, no. Until one day, his inquiries are finally rewarded. A church, 16th and Central, All Saints, gives him the nod. He chooses Ash Wednesday. Friends, it's Mardi Gras. Today is Mardi Gras. 20 years. 20 years on, tomorrow, it'll be Ash Wednesday again. When he shows up, there are maybe half a dozen elderly white parishioners in attendance. As soon as they're finished and the doors open, whoosh, 80 homeless people rush inside the church. And they go sleeping on the floor, they sleep on the pews, they sleep in every little nook and cranny they can find. And when he notices the parishioners collecting dirty laundry to do for the homeless, when he sees families stretched out all over the floors and in nooks and crannies, he thinks to himself, maybe liability is not going to be a big issue here. And then it's the moment of truth. He has raided his office for medical supplies. To accommodate the hodgepodge assortment he has gathered, he can't begin to guess what all he might need, so he brings, medically speaking, the kitchen sink. To accommodate all this, he crams it all into a steamer trunk. He feels like Mother Teresa and Hippocrates, but buddy, he looks like the Fuller brush salesman. You've seen him. The church offers him the nursery. The nursery, that's good. It's available. No kids in there now. It's empty. Buddy, it's really empty. There's no furniture. There's no chairs. There's no table. And so with this imposing professional look established, with his equally inspiring doctor's quarters and his accoutrement, he strides forth and makes his announcement. Anybody want to see a doctor? And the response is unanimous, which is to say, no one replies. Instead, people look puzzled. Who can blame them? Not only does this not look like what they imagined their doctor would look like, that a doctor might come to them here of his own volition, offering his services free of charge. None of this squares with what they know of the medical establishment. They are suspicious. Finally, one man comes forward. He is very wary, but he enters the doctor's, let's be charitable, office. The doctor makes his apologies for the interesting decor and lack of amenities, and then he gets down to business. Actually, they both get down, as in on the floor. The man receives as thorough an examination as circumstances will allow. He receives an immunization shot. He dresses, thanks the doctor, exits the office, and outside, guess what? Outside, every single eye is on that guy. He is the guinea pig. He is the trial balloon. He is the gold standard by which all the others will be informed and be swayed one way or the other, yea or nay, up or down. That man looks over the assembled crowd, and then he passes his judgment. It is a visual bodily response. I will show it to you. Here it is. Some of you will have to awaken now to see this. It looks like this. This was evidently such an overwhelmingly positive gesture